All right, we're going to show you how to load a traditional muzzle loader today. This is my little Traditions Crockett 32 caliber, shoots round balls and pellets. First thing I want to tell you is you want it to, we've been shooting this gun today, so we know that everything's clean. We've already got fouling shots in it, but you want to take and put a nipple on before you ever load it. And you want to get down here by a leaf or something and touch it off and make sure that you see that leaf kind of blow out a little bit. What that does is it gets any oils that's in there cleared out, kind of puts just a little fouling in there, but also makes sure that your nipple's clean and so that your touch hole is clean so that you get good ignition. Second thing I want to tell you is do not put a cap on here when you're loading. Powder's not going to fall out. Do not put this on until you've got your powder and your balls seated. Then you put your cap on, then you can go hunting or shooting or whatever. So first thing we're going to do, this thing takes 20 grains of powder. I've got a powder measure here. I've got a flask. I've also got powder horns, different means of holding my powder. But this here has a 20 grain spout. I'm shooting 20 grains of Triple F black powder. This is GoX black powder, real black powder. You can also use Pirate XP if you have Pirate XP or any of the triple F equivalents in this particular gun. Other guns, anything 45 caliber and below, you can use Triple F in. Anything 50 and above is recommended to use Double F in. But this here load takes 20 grains of powder. My measure is set at 20 grains. This is also a 20 grain spout. You can put your finger down here, hold the button back and clip it off, and there'll be 20 grains of powder in there. I don't like using this because if there's an ember in the bottom of your barrel, you've shot, you're doing a quick reload. If there's still an ember in there and you happen to hit that with that can blow off and it can blow your hand off, because this then becomes a grenade basically. So I like to use separate powder measures. So we're gonna fill this powder measure up. You want to fill it till it's a little bit over like that and skim it off. That way you know you got a good full 20 grain charge. Dump it down your barrel. And then I always just kind of open up and double check, just make sure everything went. Sometimes wet weather, it kind of gets a little sticky sometimes. Next thing you're going to need is a patch and a ball. Now I've already got these preloaded. These comes in a ball board. I preload these, so my patch and my ball's already in there. It's already started. But you can just use a regular patch, set it on top and center it over the top of your bore, set your ball on there, ram it in. A lot of people will use these here to start. They'll use this to start it. They'll hit it with the back of their hand, then they'll ram it on down that far into the bore like this. That gets it on farther down, and then they use the ramrod to go on in farther. On a tight bore, that's what I do. With this one, I don't have to do that. It's not as tight of a bore. So I can actually just set this ball on there like this. Take my ramrod, shove it down in there to get it started. It's already started. Now, all my ramrods, I mark them down here where my load and my ball should end. That way I can visually check and make sure that I've went far enough, because you do not want any kind of air gap in between your ball and your powder. So if you can see here, I've got this down. I can visually check right here. I can see there's no gap because that line matches up with where I want it to be. You don't want to just sit here and just really cram your powder in there either. That you can press it. Just push it down till you feel it stop, and then just kind of give it a couple taps, make sure it's there. Now you're loaded. Always keep when you're loading, one thing I forgot to mention is always keep your face away from this muzzle. Get your face over it and happen to go off, you know what's going to happen. Now we're going to cap it. We're going to take this capper here. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my capper. It's about wore out, kind of like me, it's about wore out. Push that cap down on there. Now you're good to shoot. I'm going to step over here and I'm going to shoot. Back to trigger is your set trigger. pull it first. Now you got a hair trigger. The front trigger is the one you're going to pull. That's all there is to it.